Hey, this is McGarren Flack. Just gonna go over some pruning with this awesome tree right here. This is the Sugar Cane Jujube, and this is after being planted a year in the ground. I mean, this thing got huge. It's the size of my finger there, so it's twice the width, about 1.5 inches in diameter. And when we get up here to the jujube, you can see that there's just thorns that are on the little branches here, not on the thicker, bigger branches. And so I'm coming around to the side. It's bending just a little bit. I had probably 200 pieces of fruit on this thing, and it was stellar. So what I'm going to do, I don't want it to be too big. I don't want it to get too big, and so I'm going to prune it. And since these guys grow on first year growth, I'm gonna be pretty vigorous on pruning it back because I don't want it to get too big and I want it to fruit. So looking at the shapes of all of this tree, I'm trying to determine where the best place would be to prune. So here we have a central leader that goes all the way up there. You can see that. It is currently about 7 feet high, and I don't want it to get that big. So I'm going to come in and figure out where I want to prune. So I have a guy that is heading out this direction and that direction. So I'm gonna prune just above it. Maybe I can do it one-handed. All right, there we go. And that might seem like a lot, but it really isn't. So I'm gonna trim it off there because I don't want it to get too tall, big. I'm also going to trim it off right here because this guy is shooting out, so I want growth to come out this direction, not necessarily vertical. So I'm gonna trim right here. And let's go to this back one. Also, I already have a shoot coming out this direction, so I don't care for this guy to come up, but I think it would be nice to have one coming in, and oh, looky there. Here's one that comes in towards me to fill up the space a little bit more. So because I don't really care for those, I'm gonna just go with this guy here, trim it off. And then some of these guys that are really close together, I don't care to have them that close together. So I'm gonna lob that a little bit. These guys, now here's the thing with jujube. These little guys, they're basically dead wood. They're just gonna fall off. Now a new branch might start out in that direction, but you have with the jujube, you have your primary, and then you have your secondaries that are coming out, your tertiary limbs. Then you have these little dead guys. These guys, they'll just fall off. They don't actually need to be pruned. And new growth will start out with it, but so there you can see it just breaks off easily. So I'm gonna also trim this guy a little bit and that guy. And these are all opening in different directions, which is nice. Same thing with down here, opening in different directions. There's a little bit of overlap here, but they're about 8 inches apart. I'm gonna take this guy outside going that direction. And I will also take off some of this guy. I don't want the top, I want that side. And same thing with this underneath there. Now for this tallest part that is sitting up here, I want this outside to come out a little bit more, so I'm gonna prune off the top there. And then just gonna take these pieces of wood and chop them all up, leave them here in the ground so that it can be recycled, because that's the beautiful thing about fruit trees. They like to recycle. All right, I'll just clean up this a little bit more and cut some more things, just looking at what direction I want the limbs to go. I'll trim above it. And that should all work out fine with the direction of those guys. That too. All right, we'll see if this works. And if it was too much or not enough this next year, I'll probably do some summer pruning. These guys leaf out pretty late in the season. But now it's about 6 feet tall, which is fine. By the time it gets all the fruit on these little guys, it'll hang down. So having it at about this height for me seems to work out. We'll see how it goes. Stay tuned for next year. All right, have a gravy and good day. Or just a good day, or a gravy one, whatever.